Hello, welcome back to another episode of the SimpforTyrie Podcast. We're actually going to have a much different type of episode today. We're going to go through my way too early 2022 NFL mock draft, and then I'm actually going to mock some mocks. So, I guess here we go. Gonna load up PFN. Why does the Draft Network still not have theirs up? So here we are. I want to adjust a couple of things real quick. The Texans are going to be picking number 1 overall. I want to reflect that. Texans, just swap these two. So now that's fixed, and then there's one more thing that needs to be fixed. Colts, and then Eagles. Give that first round pick because I think almost certainly Carson Wentz exceeds the limits or whatever. But here we are. So now let's start. I one more thing. I kind of want to apologize that I couldn't get the podcast or the mock draft out on Tuesday. I said on the podcast last week that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get it out on Tuesday. But as I was recording it, I tried to record the sound a little bit different and it came out terribly. So now I'm doing it in a different way that I know works because last time I tried doing something different, but that clearly didn't work. So now we're doing this. And when I did that mock draft, I actually had Thibodeaux going number 1 overall because I didn't switch the Lions and the Texans. I do think that if the Lions had the first overall pick, Dan Campbell isn't the type of coach that would like a Spencer Rattler. And at that point, I'd rather take the best player in the draft in Thibodeaux. So yeah. But now that the Texans have the first overall pick, David Coley, I can bet my house that is a one and done. That was a Band-Aid hire that they're just going to peel off in a year. So I'm going to take Rattler 1. That's easy. And then for the Lions at number 2, I like Sam Howell, but I think going a high floor quarterback at number 2 overall, I just can't get behind. And, well, not that I wouldn't take a higher floor quarterback there. It's just that, I need to backtrack. I just don't think Howell has the ceiling that's going to return enough value as the number 2 overall pick. So, with that being said, I'm going to take Kayvon Thibodeaux, who's going to help change the mentality and truly help reestablish that defense. I'd assume that taking Thibodeaux, they'd probably end up cutting Trey Flowers, but sucks. But for the next 10 years, you could establish potentially Deshaun Hand, depending on if he can bounce back, then Levi Onwuzurike, and Aleem McNeil. That could be a great 1, 2, 3, 4, and they still would need another edge that could establish a potentially elite pass rush. Thibodeaux is a special talent. So, here for the Jags, I'm not going to be doing any trades in this. I wouldn't take Derek Stingley if I were them because they just signed Shaquille Griffin, they have CJ Henderson, and they just took Tyson Campbell. So they're set at corner. Evan Neal, I've talked about this a little bit. I don't think he's very... Well, if I was drafting based off of last season, I don't think he would go in the top 20 of the draft. But based off the development I project heading into next season, I think Evan Neal might end up being worth it. And I think with the Alabama coaching staff, he'll develop enough to where he could be a top 10 pick. And for the Jags here, you're not sold on Jawan Taylor. Cam Robinson's gone after this year. So I guess I'm going to go with Evan Neal for the Jaguars. For the Eagles here, if you're picking number 4 overall, it's because of Jalen Hurts. So, and now I'm looking at quarterbacks. And this gets a little tricky. Because, oh my god. This gets a little bit tricky because I'm not sure if any of the quarterbacks available will return the value of the number 4 overall pick. But I'm not doing trades. And if I'm the Eagles, you have a loaded roster. The Eagles roster is super underrated. They have tons of talent still. And with that being said, I guess I would go Sam Howell or Grayson McCall. It's just that they don't have a situation conducive to develop a really raw prospect like Malik Willis. So that makes it a lot tougher. Looking down at the board, this actually could be a good situation for Strong, but I would take McCall and Howell over him. I wouldn't take Keaton Slovis. I wouldn't take Matt Corral for them. I still need to use some of my connections to get tape on Jaden Daniels, because for whatever reason, tape is impossible to find for him. JT Daniels, no. Kenny Pickett, no. Philip Yurkovich, no. Chase Garbers, I like him, but no. Purdy, no. Shug, no. I need to use connections to get LB tape. Michael Cunningham, maybe. Or not maybe, but I actually like him, but no. Gabriel, no. King, no. Glass, no. McCall, this is the one I would be considering. So it's going to come down to Howell and McCall. I'm going to go Grayson McCall here. No one's going to like me for this. Or people that don't dive as deep into the tape as I do, or haven't dove as deep into the tape as I have, aren't going to like that. They're going to be like, who on earth is Grayson McCall? Who beats up on trash competition? I don't give a crap about competition. For the Bengals here, this is a pretty easy pick in my eyes. Probably not many people are going to agree with this, but actually, hold on. Never mind, I need to backtrack. It's not a surefire of a pick, but this pick for me comes down to George Karlaftis and Derek Stingley. Karlaftis I detailed on the podcast last week. He is incredible. I had someone who's I'm gonna mock later. Guy who I frequently talk to on Twitter and who had a question in the last podcast that I answered, Ethan RKO. I had him watch Karlaftis and he really liked Karlaftis. So I know it's not just me at this point that thinks he's absurd. Another pick that I'm actually kind of sleeping on right here would be DeMarvin Leal. But if I'm the Bengals here, I would bet that they would without a doubt take Stingley. I wouldn't be so certain. I think he's actually pretty raw at this point, but still is great. Drake Jackson, lol. Let me just say that. Lol. Christian Harris, lol. But I think the pick is actually going to be Karlaftis, just because they have a couple of edge rushers, but we're not sure of them. Stingley, they actually have a few corners that are decent. So I'd be comfortable. Well, I would rather go with Karlaftis and get a guy who I know is going to be a superstar pass rusher. I compare him to Cameron Jordan. He is what Peyton Turner truthers thought Peyton Turner was. For the Jets here, I like their safety, so it's not going to be Hamilton. This is honestly, I don't know why I'm spending time on this. This is pretty clearly Derek Stingley. They are depleted at corner, and you get one of the better corner prospects to come out in recent memory. The Giants here, I can only assume this is the Bears pick, so I'm gonna select. But it doesn't really matter. But looking down the board, you have the Falcons right behind you, the Broncos right behind them. So you have to take a quarterback here. And for the Giants, I'm not sure how much of an upgrade Sam Howell will be to Daniel Jones. So I'm not going to go Howell. I'm going to go Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is a project. He is very first read and run, and very often he can miss underneath or overhanging defenders. He has a long way to go. But I think Daniel Jones would actually be a decent mentor for a quarterback. Daniel Jones actually has a pretty good processor, and processing is Willis's biggest problem. So you get to bring Willis in there. He'll get to work with a loaded roster. He'll have tons of help if they can continue to fix the outline. So you're setting up a great situation for him to develop, and you could be getting a top 5 to 10 quarterback with Willis in like 2 years or 3 years. He'll take longer than that to get there, but you'll get a star quickly. Or not quickly, but sooner rather than later. Falcons here. Howell isn't the quarterback that I really want to sit and learn. I think this is too rich for Matt Corral or Desmond Ridder. But I guess if I'm projecting, I think Matt Corral will take a nice step up. He could get into the first round, but it still is a long way to go. Well, a really long way. Desmond Ridder, I think, could also... Well, Desmond Ridder's raw, but he could get there. So I think it's down to Ridder and Corral. I would go Corral, I guess. I feel like Corral, because he's younger, that would put the edge in the Falcons' eyes. Ridder's going to be like 23 next year. And by the time he'd be taking over, he would be like 25 or 26. With Corral, he'd be taking over at like 23 or 24. So I'm going to go Corral. Set up your next 15 years of quarterback play. For the Broncos here, you're picking here, it's because of Drew Lock. And the pick here is pretty obvious. It's going to be Sam Howell. I don't think that really should have to be explained. For the Giants here, this will be offensive line. But who would I take? That's the question. So I was talking about Rasheed Walker on Twitter the other day because I was doing my preliminary scouting on him. I think he really can't pass protect, but he can run block. And I almost wonder how much of a freak he would be at guard. But this feels a little bit too rich to take a guard. But we're doing no trades. They actually have nobody at center. So hear me out. I'm going to go Tyler Linderbaum. He is incredible. He's, by definition, an Iowa lineman. Super technically sound. And he's really athletic. Just a little light. But if they could further, add bigger linemen to, bigger guards to help with more anchoring, that would work well. It bugs me that Kyle Hamilton is still on the board. But just with safety, I doubt Washington would be the team to take him. I think with Washington here, again, if you're picking here, you need a quarterback. This is not a situation conducive to develop a Desmond Ridder. So I'm going to go Carson Strong, who might just be as good of a day one quarterback as Sam Howell. Carson Strong is a rocket arm. I think he's kind of a better version of what Mac Jones was as a pocket passing quarterback. For the Raiders here, I think this has to be defense, and it's gonna be DeMarvin Leal. It bugs me that Leal is available there, but he just is. And then falling into their lap, Kyle Hamilton to the Panthers. That is Derwin James all over again. Wow. Kyle Hamilton is an elite safety prospect. It's just that I didn't really see a fit for him up the board. And now for the Vikings here. I think this... Ooh. Zimmer hates investing in corner. But I think I'm going to go with, for the Vikings, Kyer Elam from U of Florida. He's a fantastic corner prospect. This corner class is loaded. And you just snagged a guy who in a lot of classes would be the best corner at 14. For the Cardinals here, who would they want? This is rough. I would not take a running back here. They've invested in receiver. I love Isaiah Likely, but this is too rich. When they really only want like a slot receiver as their tight end in a way. Or their tight end is basically a slot receiver. Think Mike Gesicki. Oy, what would they want? Actually, this should be a corner. This is going to be Ahmad Gardner. I don't know why that took a second to process in my head. Gardner's another phenomenal corner prospect. For the Steelers here, I have incessantly joked that they are a quarterback away, but man, it's looking rough. They're almost certainly about to get stuck in purgatory because they have a phenomenal defense. And their Big Ben is gone next year, so it's going to be hard to develop a quarterback. Ooh, I guess this just means go O-line. Charles Cross or Rasheed Walker. I still need to get to Zion Nelson on my evals. I'm going to go Rasheed Walker because he's much more of their type of tackle as a mauling tackle. For the Patriots here, I want to go wide receiver for them. Chris Olave is a phenomenal fit for them. I love that fit a ton. I'm going to go Olave. Also, one quick joke I want to make is that I was watching some Drake London. I don't like many of their players' tape. And there was one snap where he motioned from, I want to say it was the wide receiver, and he actually motioned to line up as a wing tight end, and he absolutely mauled a dude in the run game. Just a little bit of a thought there. For the Chargers here, I think you got to continue to invest in corner, but actually this is a great spot for Seven Banks. Yeah, I love this pick, Seven Banks here. Seven Banks is another great corner prospect. Cowboys. I think it's about time they start to get more developmental youth. into their offensive line, but they also could use a lot of help on defense. Namely, like, or I don't think they invested much in safety. Ooh. But I think this is a little bit too rich. So who would they go? Ooh. I want to go offensive line for them. Who would I go? Ooh, I'm going to go Zion Nelson for them. They desperately need to get another offensive lineman there. I want to say they took the guy out of Marshall or some dude this year. But Zion Nelson's just a better prospect than him. Has more upside as well. So just throw another dart at the offensive line and try to secure that for the future. Because the Cowboys don't have much space. They have to draft for the future. Every team also does, to be fair, but... Now, Eagles. Eagles. It's not going to be wide receiver. They took a quarterback. Tight end, no. Tackle, no. I wouldn't say offensive line. So go corner. I'm not an Andrew Booth fan. I think I'm gonna have to reach a little bit for Trent McDuffie. They need corners. Bad. And Trent McDuffie's a really good corner. He can run man, he can run zone. Oh, holy crap, that was a voice crack. He can run man, he can run zone. Great fit for a defense that I think is going to mix up some man and zone. And now for the Titans. Ooh. I'm interested in the idea of potentially adding a developmental receiver here. But I don't necessarily know about doing that in the first round. Maybe in like the second round. Tight end, they are pretty bad at. I'm going to go Isaiah Likely. He reminds me of quite a bit of Jonnu Smith. Super athletic. Smaller tight end. Likely is a beast. He's Grayson McCall's go-to target. For the Eagles, back on the clock again. Continue to invest in defense. This is way too rich for Christian Harris. Oh. They're set on the defensive line. I'm going to go risky here. I'm going to go Brandon Joseph. Safety from Northwestern. He's a risky prospect, but if he hits, he will be a steal. And for a team that really lacks safeties, or really lacks defensive backs in general. For the Jets here, in my mind, I know who this is, and it is Zach Harrison. Sela loves his big-bodied, super lengthy edge rusher. Really refined. That is, by definition, Zach Harrison. And at 23, that is a steal. I have a top 20 grade on him. That is a phenomenal pick. For the Saints here, I want to get... Well, I don't necessarily know who the quarterback is, but I want to get them a weapon. And I think that weapon is going to be either Treylon Burks, John Mechie, Justin Ross, Romeo Doubs. I'm just going off guys that I've watched. George Pickens, and Jahan Dotson. Those are guys that I've watched, as well as Garrett Wilson, I guess. But I feel like they want more of a guy who could be an alpha. I want more of like an alpha number one to complement Michael Thomas. Not that Michael Thomas isn't one, but Thomas has somewhat of a limited skill set. I'm going to go... Oh. Traylon Burks from Arkansas. He was phenomenal with Felipe Franks. He's even falling in this draft. For the Browns, I kind of want to go linebacker. They took JOK last year, but I still feel like they could use another linebacker. Or edge is also in play. But I don't know about scheme fits here. Maybe Kingsley Enagbare. But I feel like he's more of a 4 technique or a 3 technique and a 3-4. Or just a 3-4 defensive end. Drake Jackson is not even on my mind yet. I'm going to go, hear me out, I'm going to go DeMarvion Overshown. When I watched him, he stood out from other linebackers in this draft. I think he's a big sleeper right now. Dolphins. I doubt they're picking that late. I don't think they're going to be that good. Wait, oh no, this is the 49ers pick. So don't necessarily know how Tua did. Ooh. I think their offensive line still sucks. I don't know how you can argue otherwise. So I'm going to go with Charles Cross. He's just going to be an upgrade to Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson is an athlete who doesn't really know how to play football. It's brutal, but it's hard truth. So you're just going to make a massive upgrade. Maybe you could slide Austin Jackson into guard. For the Ravens here, who do I want to go? Their edge situation is still depleted. Kingsley Enagbare is more of an IDL guy. Ooh. I'm thinking like Myjai Sanders, Brenton Cox, or Nick Benito. I'm going to go Nick Benito. He's more of that attacking 3-4 edge. Who actually has a surprisingly bit of power. And I think he could be a great Baltimore Raven. Lions, it's going to be wide receiver to absolutely nobody's surprise. Give me John Mechie. Mechie, I think, is going to end up as the wide receiver 1. He just needs to show it. For the Packers here, I kind of want to give them a perimeter receiver. Justin Ross would be an unbelievable compliment to Davante Adams. As dumb as the Packers front office is, I doubt they let Davante Adams leave the building. So if you can get Davante Adams and Justin Ross as your 1-2 punch at receiver, that is lethal. And then you have Amari Rodgers. That is a phenomenal receiving core. For the Bills here, I'm going to go running back. It's going to be Isaiah Spiller. He's a phenomenal prospect. I don't know what else to say. Bucks. I love Kingsley Enagbare here. He'll be more of an IDL in this game. But I think he'll be a phenomenal player in that scheme. And they know how to scheme up defensive end, like IDLs, very well. Enagbare is just going to be significantly better than Chauncey Golston, Ndamukong Suh, Steve McClendon. That's just a great fit. And now for the Chiefs here. They need a day one edge rusher. I can't think of much better of a one other than the top three guys than Aiden Hutchinson. A guy who many people thought was going to come out this year, but due to injury he didn't. So, he didn't. I want to recap the picks I made. Spencer Rattler, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Evan Neal, Grayson McCall, George Karlaftis, Derek Stingley, Malik Willis, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Tyler Linderbaum, Carson Strong, DeMarvin Leal, Kyle Hamilton, Kyer Elam, Ahmad Gardner, Rasheed Walker, Chris Olave, Seven Banks, Zion Nelson, Trent McDuffie, Isaiah Likely, Brandon Joseph, Zach Harrison, Traylon Burks, DeMarvion Overshone, Charles Cross, Nick Benito, John Mechie, Justin Ross, Isaiah Spiller, Kingsley Enigbare, and Aiden Hutchinson. So now the other part of this podcast is going to be mocking some mocks. This guy I was talking about earlier, it's Ethan RKO, and I said he's the one that suggested to mock some mocks. So I'm going to start out with his. I want to say I asked for permission. So here it is. Kayvon Thibodeaux, number 1. If the Lions are picking... Well, I think that's a good pick. It's honestly the right pick for them. Rattler, I obviously agree. Evan Neal, I did the same thing. He took Howell 4. I took McCall 4. You could go either way. He then took Derek Stingley. I will agree with that. DeMarvin Leal, I would agree with that. Malik Willis, I agree with that. I did the same pick. And then he goes George Karlaftis. That is phenomenal value. A bit of a steal at number 8. Grayson McCall, obviously I agree greatly. Kenyon Green, I talked in my original mock. I did the same pick. It's just a really tough pick to make. Zion Nelson, I still need to watch him, but I think I would agree. Kyle Hamilton, they invested a lot into safety, so I don't know if I would take another one. Carson Strong, he said that because they're picking there, it probably means Darnold. I don't necessarily agree that it would be because of Darnold. I still think the roster talent of the Panthers is a bit overrated, so I would say no. And then he took Kyer Elam. I think I did the same thing. And then I did the same thing with Ahmad Gardner. We both did Rasheed Walker. Did I do Olave? I want to see. Yeah, we both did Olave. He did Zach Harrison there. Who did I take? I took Seven Banks. I could actually agree with that pick. He then took Charles Cross. I did the same thing. He took Christian Harris. I wouldn't touch Christian Harris in the first round. He took Cade Mays. I actually really like Cade Mays, but they don't really need guard. And then he took Garrett Wilson. That's actually a really good fit and pick. I honestly thought that was a good idea. Seven Banks. I agree. That's great value. John Mechie, I agree, that's a great pick. Drake Jackson. Ethan, please, why? We talked about this, Ethan. Drake Jackson is not a good football player. He's closer to Josh Kinda, who went at the end of the 4th round, than he is a first-round pick. Let's just not touch Drake Jackson there. I'm actually going to kind of shred you for this. This is a really bad pick. Ooh. Ugh. He's an athlete who just happens to have... He's just an athlete with length. Tyler Linderbaum, that is a steal at 26. Andrew Booth, I just don't necessarily think he'll be a high upside player. And the Ravens, I feel like they would, if they're going to go corner, it's probably as a high upside pick. Traylon Burks, I think I did the same thing. That's a great pick. Justin Ross, I did the same thing. And then Isaiah Spiller, I did the same thing. Kingsley Enagbare, I did the same thing. He did Trent McDuffie. I think they are depleted at edge. Frank Clark just got arrested. Well, Frank Clark might not play this year. And then they have nobody at edge. They're not banking on Josh Kindo playing. So the next one I'm gonna mock, I think it's gonna be the what is his name? Oh, what was his name? Someone for the Draft Network. I kind of want to go to the Draft Network and see if I can find him. Crap. I'm probably going to remember it as soon as I get here. Trevor Sikkema. Trevor Sikkema. Mock draft. I want to see 2022. Trevor Sikkema is way too early. 2022 mock draft. So, Rattler 1, I agree. That is the pick. Hell no. Kedon Slovis is not a first round pick. Kedon Slovis is not good. Let me look at this explanation. The 2021 draft started with a run on quarterbacks. Went to the same the following year. Kedon Slovis, like many in this quarterback class, has a good amount of polish but still has the size and arm. I saw him short arm a 15-yard pass against Oregon. I then turned on his freshman tape where he was healthy. He still has a noodle arm. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick at best. This is a horrible pick. I would be disappointed in the Lions if they took Kedon Slovis. If you're going to take a quarterback number 2 overall, he has to be better than a backup. If you're going to take any player in the first round, they need to be better than a backup. Thibodeaux number 3, that is a steal at number 3. That's a great pick. Bengals, Stingley, that's a good pick. Eagles, Howell, that's a good pick. Kyle Hamilton for the Jags, I really like that. He's a special safety prospect. Pickens at number 7. Pickens on the field is the best player. Or, not the best player. Pickens on the field is the best wide receiver in this draft by far. If we're throwing out the injuries, then yeah, that's the pick. Or, actually, no. Not to the Giants. But if he's guaranteed health, you would pick him here. I just can't get behind Pickens to the Giants there. I would much rather see them go Malik Willis or a quarterback. Panthers, Evan Neal. I guess you're just conceding Brady Christensen is not going to start. And that's basically wasting a 3rd round pick. I don't know. I don't know about that. And then Falcons, DeMarvin Leal, great pick. I'd also like to see potential George Karlaftis. Cade Mays, I hate this pick. Cade Mays is a really good football player, but They are more than set at the interior. Offensive line, Raiders, Charles Cross. Yes, you can already end the dream of Alex Leatherwood at tackle. That's a great pick. Giants, Kyer Elam. You need to take a quarterback there. I would be pissed if I was a Giants fan. They took freaking George Pickens and Kyer Elam over investing in a quarterback. Chargers, Sevyn Banks. That's a great pick. There are other corners I like more, but that's fine. Drake Jackson. Hell no. He's just an athlete. He got absolutely mauled by tight ends. I don't see why he is better than... Well, I don't see why he should go in the second or even third round. And then Kenyon Green. I don't know. It's fine. John Mechie. I really like that pick, but I do have to remember that this was before the Julio Jones trade, so I would say no to that. But I'm just gonna kind of ignore this pick. Rasheed Walker. That is such a good fit. They love mauling tackles, and Rasheed Walker is exactly that. This makes me sad as a Seahawks fan. With our pick, they take a beast of an edge rusher. That would be A++++. Saints, Chris Olave. I could get behind that. The Eagles, Zion Nelson. Why? 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 You're fine at tackle. Why? That is an unnecessary pick. Garrett Wilson for the Patriots, that's a good fit. Dallas Cowboys, Jalen Miedermeyer. Miedermeyer is a third-round prospect. He is not athletic enough to go in the top 2 rounds. If you're taking a tight end in the top 2 rounds, he needs to be a freak athlete. Miedermeyer just is not that. He is not that. And then Darian Kendrick. He is rawer than sushi. But if you can get him to tap into his potential, that'll be a hell of a pick. Treylon Burks. Great pick. Zach Harrison. Incredible pick. Christian Harris. If you're going to take Christian Harris in the first round, this is kind of where you do it, and that's the team that does it. Harris is Micah Parsons without the run defense and blitzing ability. He's kind of just an athlete. But I think with Alabama, he'll take a nice step up. Not as much as I would hope. Dolphins, Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know. I don't think so. I disagree. Detroit Lions, Justin Ross. I agree with that pick. That's a good one. Isaiah Spiller, yes. Jordan Battle. If I was taking a safety round 1, I'd rather go with the super high upside of what's his name? I want to check the mock. I'd rather go Brandon Joseph. And then Bucks, Jordan Davis. I actually haven't gotten to Jordan Davis yet. If I were picking this as far as I've evaluated, I'd go Kingsley Enagbare. And then for the Chiefs, DeMarvion Overshow. I have no problems with that. They could use another linebacker. I want to find another mock here. So I'm gonna look up 2020 or crap, 2022 way too early mock draft. Yard Barker. I don't know what the hell that is, but hey, we'll go with it. So I think this is gonna be the last one I do. Oh crap, my mouse. So here we go. Rattler 1, I love it. Howell number 2, I could agree. I just don't know if that's the high upside the Lions would want. I don't know if I would do it. Jets Thibodeaux all day, every day. DeMarvin Leal, hell yeah. I love the respect. He is a beast. That is an A+ pick, or not an A+ pick, but that is a great pick. Sting at 5, yes sir. That's a great pick. Drake Jackson, throw it in the trash. That's basically what you're doing by making that pick. Kyer Elam, a little rich, but I like it. Christian Harris, no. Throw it in the trash. Carson Strong, if I'm taking a quarterback for the Giants, I want it to be high upside, i.e. Malik Willis. George Karlaftis, that is A+ pick. That is hell yeah. Malik Willis to the Panthers, I would say no. Evan Neal, this is where you take Evan Neal. This is a great fit. Or this is like the sweet spot for Evan Neal. I really like this pick. And that's a great fit. Throw that pick in the trash because that's basically what you just did. Kyle Hamilton, that is a steal. Zach Harrison, Mike Zimmer doesn't invest in edge that early, but if he did, that would be the pick. Tyler Shugg, no. He got beat out by Anthony. He got benched for Anthony Gordon. No. Just no. George Pickens, that's a great pick. Or if he's on the field, that is an A+ pick. Sevyn Banks, that's a great fit. I love that pick, honestly. Garrett Wilson to the Eagles, why? I don't know. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a good pick. Chris Olave, no, I disagree. That's not a good pick. Charles Cross, I don't get it. Unless you're grooming him as a long-term replacement for, what's his name? Taylor Lewan. I disagree. Jalen Green, I have not really heard of him. So I'm not going to add anything on that. Justin Ross, that's a great pick. I love that fit. That is such a great compliment to Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and Anthony Schwartz. Matt Corral, that's not a situation conducive to develop him. Perry and Winfrey, I still haven't evaluated him. I hope to get it done soon. Ventura Miller, I would rather ask Ethan Arceo what he would say about this pick, because he's a Florida fan. Nolan Smith, if he can take a step up, he just needs to develop. He has all the physical tools in the world. He just needs to break out. Zion Nelson, that's a great pick. I still need to evaluate him again. Jordan Battle, again, if I want to take a safety, I want to go risky and I want to go super high upside. Brandon Joseph. Justin Eboigbe, I don't know how to say that. I've not really heard of him. Jalen Wiedermeyer, no. This is an F pick if I'm being honest. Why? Why? Where is the logic in this pick? What? I want to actually do a CBS way too early mock. They're more of a troll than anything at this point, but let's do it. So this is going to be the last one for sure. Thibodeaux 1, yes. Howell 2, no. Stingley 3, I could get behind it. Kyle Hamilton 4, I don't know. I'd rather go tackle or edge. Darian Kendrick, fuck no. Fuck no. That's a really bad pick. Zion Nelson too early. Rattler, that is a steal. That is an unbelievable steal. Keaton Slovis, throw that in the trash. Malik Willis, I don't think they would take quarterback. Drake Jackson, fuck no. George Karlaftis, hell yeah. That is an unbelievable pick. Chris Olave, no. I disagree. Spiller, you don't take a running back that high. Kyer Elam, I actually really like that pick. They need developmental options at corner. Cade Mays, no. I don't know. I don't think so. Seven Banks, yeah. That's a good pick. Actually, no. They have invested a ton in corner. John Mechie, that is an incredible pick. Or, not an incredible pick. But I think he's going to take a big step up, and that's going to be a great pick. Zach Harrison, no. They have a ton of edge already. Traylon Burks, no. Why? They don't need receiver. What the hell? Christian Harris, no. Josh Jobe, I actually really like Jobe, so I'm going to say yeah. That's a good pick. Rasheed Walker, that is a steal. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a good pick. Good fit. Kenyon Green for the Packers, hell no. They don't really need a guard. Desmond Ridder, that is a great pick, but I'd rather go Carson Strong for them. Jalen Wiedermeyer, why? That they don't need tight end. That makes no sense. Bubba Bolden, maybe. He has to show more development, in my opinion. Jordan Davis, I need to look at him. Garrett Wilson, that's a great pick. DeMarvin Leal, that is... Why the fuck was DeMarvin Leal available there? I did not realize he was still available. That would be A++++++++++++. The Bucks would not need to do much. Would not need to do much more, and that's an A+ draft as a whole. Justin Ross, that's a great fit. He's a perfect complement to their receivers already. So that's gonna do it for the podcast. Bit a different podcast episode from what I've normally done, but it was fun. Again, you can find me on Twitter at SimpforTyrie, twitch.tv/PandaIsThe1, and that'll do it. Thanks for watching.